Philadelphia travels to Milwaukee in a September clash that feels like a playoff preview. The Phillies hold first in the East with 80 wins. The Brewers control the Central with 85. Both clubs have October on their minds, and the bats will be tested under pressure. On the mound for Philadelphia is Ranger Suarez. He's been steady this year, carrying a 10-6 record and a 3.02 ERA across 131 innings. Suarez doesn't overpower, but he lives on command. His 1.17 whip shows how rarely he lets traffic pile up, and he's struck out 124 while walking just 30. Still, against a lineup like Milwaukee's, soft contact isn't always enough. The Brewers rank second in runs scored, and their ability to steal bases and manufacture pressure can force even composed pitchers into mistakes. Opposing him is Freddie Peralta, Milwaukee's ace, 16 wins, a 2.58 ERA, and nearly 11 strikeouts per 9 innings. Peralta thrives on swings and misses, and his fastball-slider combo is electric. But even the best arms have cracks. Peralta has issued 58 walks this season, and when he loses the zone, home run threats like Kyle Schwarber or Bryce Harper can change the game instantly. Offensively, these two teams bring very different styles. Philadelphia sits top 10 in slugging with 171 home runs. They rely on the long ball to tilt games quickly, and they can strike at any time. Milwaukee has hit fewer homers, but they're relentless on the bases, swiping 142 bags to rank second in baseball. That kind of aggression creates scoring opportunities inning after inning, especially against pitchers who allow contact. Both bullpens have been worked hard. The Phillies have blown 23 saves, while Milwaukee has shown cracks despite leading the league in holds. In September, tired arms can turn close games into late scoring bursts. Combine that with two offenses that consistently find ways to score, and even elite starters may not keep the lid on all night. This matchup has October intensity, but the numbers and the style of play point to something different than a quiet duel. With power on one side and speed on the other, chances for crooked innings are high. And today's AI pick is over 7.5. Will we cash or will we burn? On to Game 2 with a bat-in.
Cleveland meets Tampa Bay in a battle of two clubs sitting right at the 500 mark. The Guardians enter at 68-69, third in the Central. The Rays, at 69-69, have surged back into the playoff picture with 5 straight wins. Tonight in Tampa, it's about momentum against desperation, and the numbers say this matchup could break open. For Cleveland, Logan Allen takes the ball. He's had flashes of control, but the year has been rough. A 7-10 record, a 4.42 ERA, and a whip of 1.43 tell the story. Too many base runners, too many innings pitched under stress. Allen has walked 56 in 134 innings and struggles to finish clean frames. Against a Rays lineup that leads baseball in stolen bases, every extra runner is a chance for trouble. Tampa doesn't need the long ball to score, and they know how to pressure pitchers like Allen who live on the edge. On the other side, Ryan Pepiot starts for Tampa Bay. His season line is solid, 10 wins, a 3.70 ERA, and a lean 1.15 whip across 158 innings. He's done the job of a mid-rotation stabilizer, but even strong starters aren't immune to cracks. Pepiot has allowed hard contact, and when he exits, he hands the ball to a bullpen that has blown 23 saves with one of the lowest conversion rates in the league. That pen has been Tampa's weak spot all season, and Cleveland's power bats can punish mistakes late. Offensively, the difference is stark. Cleveland is near the bottom of every major hitting category, just a 223 team average, 27th in runs scored. But even weak lineups can pop a big inning, and the Guardians have hit 142 homers this year. Against a Rays staff that's already surrendered 181 bombs, one or two mistakes can turn a low-scoring game into a shootout. Tampa's bats have been hot, scoring 4.5 runs per game, and they're finding ways to pile on. Power from Yandy Diaz and Junior Caminero mixes with constant pressure on the bases, forcing pitchers into high-leverage spots. Combine that with Cleveland's shaky starter and Tampa's leaky bullpen, and the path to runs is clear. And today's AI pick is over 8. Will we cash or will we burn? On to Game 3.
Los Angeles heads to Pittsburgh tonight. A matchup that pairs a powerhouse lineup against one of baseball's most electric young arms. The Dodgers enter at 78 wins and first in the West, while the Pirates sit in the basement of the Central with 62. On paper, it looks lopsided, but the game isn't played on paper, and this one tilts closer than the standings suggest. The Dodgers send Blake Snell to the mound. His numbers look sharp, a 2.41 ERA in limited work, but the details tell another story. Snell has only logged 37 innings this season. His control is shaky, and his whip of 1.37 reveals just how often he lets runners reach. He can miss bats, yes, but the walks and short outings put stress on a bullpen that has already been stretched deep into September. The Pirates counter with Paul Skeens, and he is the reason this game turns. At just 22, he's shouldering a full aces load, 167 innings, a 2.05 ERA, and a microscopic 0.95 whip. His 187 strikeouts speak for themselves. When Skeens is on, he can silence any lineup in baseball, and his command has improved all year. At home, in front of a restless crowd, he doesn't back down from anyone, not even the Dodgers. Offensively, Los Angeles is elite. They've crushed 204 home runs and sit second in the league in both slugging and runs scored. But the Pirates, while limited in power, have been scrappy. They've stolen 104 bases, they've won 7 of their last 10, and they've found ways to grind out victories even against superior talent. The bullpens add another wrinkle. Los Angeles leads the league in holds, but their save rate is middling, and they've blown 22 chances. Pittsburgh's relief course is far from perfect, but when Skeens hands them a lead, the game tends to end. This isn't about reputation, it's about today. The Dodgers are just 33-34 on the road, and the Pirates, for all their flaws, have momentum. One dominant start from Skeens is enough to tilt the balance, and today's AI pick is Pirates Moneyline. Will we cash or will we burn? On to Game 4.
The Yankees and Astros meet in Houston, and the stakes feel like October. New York enters at 77-61, fighting to close ground in the East. Houston, at 76-63, clings to the top of the West. Both teams know one win here could swing a division race. On the mound for New York is Carlos Rodon. His numbers tell the story of a frontline arm, 15 wins, a 3.18 ERA, and 177 strikeouts in 164 innings. Rodon attacks with power fastballs and sliders, and he's held opponents to a 2.29 average, among the lowest in the league. But even with his dominance, he has walked 67 batters, and Houston is a patient lineup. In a ballpark where mistakes travel, Rodon cannot afford lapses. Across from him is Christian Javier, slowly returning to form. His season has just begun, with 16 innings under his belt and a 3.38 ERA. The stat line is light, but the stuff is still real. Javier thrives on deception, a fastball that rides, a slider that dives, and his strikeout rate remains strong with 16 punch-outs already. The Astros won't ask him for 8 innings. They'll lean on him to get through the order twice before turning it over to one of the best bullpens in baseball. Offensively, the Yankees are the most explosive team in the majors. First in home runs with 236, first in slugging at 457, and first in runs per game at 5.3. Their power can turn any game in an instant, but Houston has a different edge. Their lineup doesn't overwhelm with home runs, but with Yordan Alvarez, Jose Altuve, and a core that has played in countless big games, they grind out at-bats. The Astros also strike out less than most teams, forcing pitchers to work. The bullpens may be the difference. New York's relief corps has been average, converting just 63% of save chances. Houston's bullpen has been elite, closing down nearly 3 of every 4 opportunities, and ranking second in baseball in save percentage. In a tight game, those final 9 outs matter most. The Yankees bring power, but the Astros bring balance, experience, and a pen built to finish. At home, with a chance to make a statement, Houston has the edge. And today's AI pick is Astros Moneyline. Will we cash or will we burn? On to Game 5 with Rocco.
The White Sox and Twins clash in Minneapolis, a late-season meeting of 2 Central clubs far from the playoff picture. Chicago sits buried at 51-88, while Minnesota holds 62 wins, both playing out the string. But even games without October meaning carry betting weight, and tonight's matchup has the look of a scoreboard mover. For Chicago, Shane Smith takes the ball. His surface stats look steady, a 3.81 ERA and a 1.20 WHIP across 120 innings, but dig deeper and you see the cracks. Smith has issued 50 walks, and when he falls behind, he's forced into the zone where damage follows. The White Sox defense behind him doesn't help, ranking 28th in fielding percentage. Errors extend innings, and that's a recipe for runs. The Twins counter with Taj Bradley. Once a prized arm, this season has been a grind. A 4.82 ERA and a 1.29 WHIP tell the story of inconsistency. Bradley has surrendered 163 hits in 121 innings and lacks the command to control games, against a White Sox lineup that, while weak overall, has enough pop to punish mistakes. Bradley faces pressure from the first pitch. Neither lineup is imposing, but neither pitcher has the support to lock things down. The White Sox average 4 runs per game, the Twins just over 4.2, yet both clubs have hit more than 140 homers, and both are capable of big innings when pitchers falter. The real key is in the bullpens. Chicago's relief corps has been one of the worst in baseball, converting less than half their save chances. Minnesota's is only marginally better, blowing nearly as many games as they've saved. In late innings, expect fireworks. Momentum adds another wrinkle. Chicago just dropped 88 games, but they've suddenly won 3 straight. Minnesota has stumbled with a 3-7 mark in their last 10. Both clubs are unpredictable, which makes betting the side tricky. But totals? That's clearer. When poor starters meet leaky pens, the runs don't stop at 8. This isn't about who sneaks out the win. It's about who keeps adding on when the bullpens open the door. Every sign points to a back-and-forth night that pushes past the number, and today's AI pick is over 8.5. Will we cash or will we burn? On to Lilith for the recap.
The fire still burns, and tonight we lay the table of 5. Game 1, the Phillies and Brewers. We rode with the bats, the pressure, the chaos. The call was over 7.5. Game 2, Guardians and Rays. The market said down, but we saw openings. The choice was over 8. Game 3, Dodgers against the Pirates. Skeen stood tall, and we sided with the dog. The pick was Pirates moneyline. Game 4, Yankees and Astros. The Bronx brings power, but Houston guards the night. The edge was Astros moneyline. Game 5, White Sox and Twins. 2 broken clubs, 2 fragile pens. The signal was over 8.5. Aura and Español. Juego 1, Phillies contra Cerveceros. La Jagada fue más de 7.5. Juego 2, Guardians contra Rays. El Llamado fue más de 8. Juego 3, Dodgers contra Piratas. La selección fue Piratas línea de dinero. Juego 4, Yankees contra Astros. La decision fue Astros línea de dinero. Juego 5, Medias Blancas contra Melizos. La Jagada fue más de 8.5. Like and subscribe. Will we cash or will we burn? Uendi der Altisatz flustert im Dunkel. Wer nicht wagt, der nicht gewinnt. That old saying whispered in the dark means, nothing ventured, nothing gained.